I recently had the opportunity to spend about 2 hours hands-on with The Hidden Ones, an upcoming 3D cinematic fighting game from developer More Fun Studios and publisher Tencent. At the event, I was able to play through some of the game's story mode, sample some multiplayer fights, and test my mettle against the game's challenging trial modes. What I found was a title that clearly is trying to differentiate itself from major players in the mobile action RPG scene, most notably the Hoyoverse giants like Genshin Impact and Zenless Zone Zero, by delivering a more demanding, skill-driven combat system that rewards technique over raw character power. My initial journey in The Hidden Ones began with the story mode, where I got a small taste of the plot and characters. The game is an adaptation of the Outcast franchise, an established series with anime, webcomics, and even live-action TV adaptations. Drawing from this source material, the setting is steeped in Chinese mysticism, featuring martial arts, Taoist spells, and a history of powerful techniques known as the 8 Secret Arts, which were explained to us like modern-day superheroes. Even in the brief section that I played, The Hidden Ones teased the narrative that focuses on the secret arts and the factions vying to harness them. It's an interesting backdrop, and while I only got to experience a snippet of it, it establishes a solid reason to continue beyond just the combat. The characters and their rivalries feel grounded and personal, setting a stage that could evolve into something genuinely compelling over the long haul. After dipping into some of the story content, mostly fighting through small encounters and watching a few cinematic cutscenes, I then ventured into multiplayer matches and trial modes. The multiplayer mode actually turned out to be surprisingly fun. It reminded me of classic arena fighters from the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series, but with mechanics that demand a sharper eye and more disciplined execution. Unlike many mobile and even PC action games that allow you to button mash your way through opponents, The Hidden Ones takes a different approach. Your success in combat depends heavily on how well you read enemy attack patterns, react quickly, and time your dodges, blocks, and parries. Stamina management is also paramount, and you can't just spam attacks mindlessly because you'll get exhausted. Characters also each have ultimate moves, which are these devastating cinematic finishers that need precise timing and positioning to land. In other words, missing a special attack might leave you open to a swift counter if you're not careful. This skill-based approach extends into the trials, which present a series of escalating boss fights and challenge modes. There are multiple difficulty settings, and I learned very quickly that simply having a stronger character isn't the solution here. On the higher difficulties, the enemy AI was punishing. These modes expose the depth of the combat system, forcing me to learn how each character controls and how certain moves can cancel others, counterattacks, and break the opponent's guard. After a few humiliating losses, it became clear that mastering the fundamentals, like timing, pattern recognition, and understanding when to commit to a combo and when to break away, is way more important than any single piece of gear or stat boost. This is where The Hidden One diverges from something like Genshin Impact. Rather than relying on big numbers, incremental level gains, or heavy stat-based gear progression, it aims to make player skill the center factor. But that's a pretty tall order in the mobile game space, where many titles try to rely heavily on character pulls, gear upgrades, and auto-battle features. However, The Hidden Ones is also planned for PC, and at the event I got to play with both controller and keyboard setups. Both felt surprisingly tight and responsive, but still, I have reservations about how this will translate to mobile touchscreens. Complex combat inputs, parries, and split-second dodges might be challenging to execute smoothly on a phone. The developers are likely aware of this, but only time will tell if the control scheme can maintain the depth and precision of the game's core systems. Another concern is monetization. The developers have hinted that all characters will be available without paywalls, but I'm still unsure about where the inevitable microtransactions will come into play. Cosmetics and skins seem like a safe bet, and maybe some sort of stamina system or quick revive currency could appear later on. During the demo, I noticed that after failing a tough fight, I can continue from where I left off. It's easy to imagine an in-game currency allowing instant revives at a cost. As of now, I don't really have clarity on the monetization model. It's just hard not to be a bit cautious, but I actually remain optimistic. The Hidden Ones appears to be carving its own niche, presenting a world that's grounded, despite its mystical underpinnings, and relying on a combat system that feels genuinely skill-intensive. The developers seem passionate and experienced, and I'm looking forward to playing more. For now, The Hidden Ones is slated for PC, Android, and iOS, with the testing running in early 2025 and an estimated launch around Q3 2025. As we approach those dates, I'm excited to see how this project shapes up. Will it truly stand shoulder to shoulder with Hoyoverse's offerings, or even surpass them by offering something more technical and skill-based? If my short time with the preview has any indication, The Hidden Ones has the potential to become a fresh, compelling entry in the action-fighting arena scene, one that could reward players who are willing to hone their skills and truly engage with its combat depth. Now, enjoy some gameplay.
I knew those pawns were worthless, but never expected that even Wu couldn't buy me more time. I underestimated you, Master Wong.
So, was it worth it? Lingzhou, betraying your Shifu? For mere money?
What's between us is none of your concern. Although thanks to you, I'm finally free from his control.
Playing victim while twisting the knife.
Come on then. Show me these famous skills of yours. Out of respect, I never showed Li my true powers. But now that he's gone,
Swift stop!
gone suffering! Yes!
Noisy Pixel.